Hey guys, happy Monday. This is Miss Redding. Today we are going to explore the biomes of the world. So you did a little bit of an intro on Friday and watched a little video, did a little drag and drop, and now we're going to find out a little bit more about our biomes. So you're going to be making a foldable. So you're going to need your science notebook if you have it. If you don't, just grab some paper, pencil, markers if you have them, ruler if you like to be really neat and you have a ruler. Scissors are optional as well. So pause the video, grab those things, and then press play. All right, so you've got all of your supplies together, and I'm going to show you what you need to do. There's your ruler and your pencil, markers if you have them, and your notebook. We're going to need a few pages to do this. So if you can see how this is set up, there's 4 biomes on this first page. Okay, so we've got a place to talk about facts, then climate, so it says facts, climate, and organisms. So I could fit about 4 on a page. And then the next page has 4, the next 4 land biomes. If you don't have scissors, yours will look like this. And then we have 3 aquatic biomes. Okay, so you're going to have 8 land, 3 aquatic. If you have a really big notebook and you write really, really small, you might be able to fit them all on one. However, you are going to use this biome foldable on your next quiz and test. Okay, so this is how you make it. You fold the paper over, not all the way, just a little bit before the edge. Fold it over. Okay, grab your marker, make a title. So I just titled mine biomes. And the first biome we're going to do is tundra. So tundra, write that down. Give yourself 4, 5, maybe 6 lines. You know how big you write. If you write really big, give yourself more room. This is just showing me where my paper's. You can use your ruler for that if you want. And then, like I said, give yourself 4 or 5 lines. You can use a ruler for that. And now you're ready to write in your facts. You're going to need a little bit of space for facts, for climate information, and for organism information. Okay? And then you do the next biome and the next biome and so on. Now, if you have scissors and you want to cut this so you have flaps so you can study, you will cut right to the first fold and then you'll stop cutting. And now you can think about the tundra, open it up, see if you have the right information. Close it, open it, etc. All right, so you're going to set up your foldable. So right now, go ahead and fold your paper, set it up. If you need to watch this part of the video again, watch this part of the video again so you know what to do. Again, if you didn't hear me, you are going to be able to use this on our ecology test May 7th, and you're going to be able to use this on our assignment later this week. So as long as you follow the directions and write everything in there, this will help you a lot. So we're going to be exploring the biomes with your science teachers, and you will see some of them in this presentation. So we're starting off with Miss Hammond right there. She went on a glacier tour in Alaska, and that is in the tundra. All right, and then I found a polar bear picture on Google. So as you're watching this video, if you see a characteristic, a fact, an organism, you can go ahead and pause the video and write it into your foldable. So right now, I would be pausing the video and writing polar bear in my organisms. I would be writing snow and ice in my facts. Okay, so as we're going through, that's your job to pause and add things to your foldable. You will add more in tomorrow's lesson. So if you don't have all your blanks filled out and you don't know any facts or you don't know climate information, you will be getting that again tomorrow. This is just kind of a preview. All right, this is the tundra in the summer. So let me go back. This is the tundra in the winter where the polar bear is. And in the summer, it looks totally different. Okay, it has rocky soil. It has little low-growing plants, some little animals. That's a ground squirrel. That's a quail of some sort. Here is the rocky soil, the grasses. You don't see any trees. There are no trees in the tundra. This is what it looks like in the winter again. Okay, no trees, snow and ice. Not a lot of snow. There's just a small amount of snow there. This is the summer again. Again, lots of low growing plants, and you got some animals there. So if we zoom in, those are caribou. All right, you might know them as reindeer. Reindeer are domesticated, but these are wild, so they are called caribou. And this is all these pictures are from Miss Redding that she took them in Alaska in Denali National Park right now. There's some little wildflowers. This is called caribou moss. Okay, so you're going to have, I think it's more of a lichen than a moss, but you're going to have some low growing plants. And look at the year and the time. This is summer. I'm wearing a hat, winter coat. I'm wearing a vest there. So it's pretty cold even in the summer. All right, here's our taiga. So if we move a little bit further south, so the tundra is the most northernmost biome. Let me go back there. Northernmost biome in the tundra. And if you go a little bit further south, we get to the taiga. So here's all of our trees. And they're all very similar types of trees. They're all evergreen trees or conifers. Sometimes you will see this called the coniferous forest. Again, they're all the same types of trees, evergreen trees. And there's a moose. And hey, did you know moose swim? We were eating dinner one day. Moose swam right by in the river. Very cool. This is what the taiga looks like in the winter. It's very snowy. Very snowy. That was a lynx. Let me go back. That was a lynx right there. They have big paws to help them walk on all that snow that the taiga gets in the winter. Again, anytime I'm talking about something that you think could go in your foldable, pause the video and write it in your foldable. Here's two biomes together. We've got our taiga right here with all our evergreen trees and a mountain biome in the back. This is Denali. It used to be called Mount McKinley. They renamed it. All right, we're moving further south now. So if you were in Alaska or northern Canada and you moved even further south down into like Arizona, Nevada, you would see a desert like this. Not many of your teachers have gone to the desert, so I've got one picture of me, a couple pictures of Arizona State University, which is in the desert, but the rest of these pictures I pulled online. There's a thorny devil. There's a lizard, so we get a lot of reptiles in the desert. We have a jackrabbit there, fennec fox. We have big ears to let all that heat out, okay? And it helps them hear any predators. And then in other types of deserts, not in the US, you would see a camel. All right, pretty cool. Here's one of those deserts that's not in the US. This would be similar to the Sahara. And then if we moved further south and we started to get into Central and South America, we would be in the rainforest. So the rainforest are usually along the equator. That's a good fact to write down. Miss Agee went to the rainforest. I don't know what country. She didn't tell me what country that was. But there she is right in front of a waterfall. Very cool, Miss Agee. The rainforest again, near the equator, tropical. Doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold. They don't have seasons. Very humid. See that, all that mist? It's very, very humid. Very, very biodiverse. One of the most biodiverse biomes. So we have lots of different organisms. I could have spent the whole video pulling organisms from the rainforest, but there's just a few. And that, of course, is a sloth right there. They're so cute. There's some more tropical rainforest organisms and trees and plants. Big competition for sunlight in the rainforest. Okay, the canopy is going to block out a lot of sun. If we move to a different continent and went to the savanna, we would be in Africa. All right, if you're thinking Lion King, the main plant here is grass. You can see how well that cheetah blends in to the grass. There are some trees, but mostly grasses. Now, I did get to go to a savanna-like environment when I went to Disney's Animal Kingdom and see giraffes and zebras and other savanna organisms. You may have seen things like this at the zoo, but this is an actual savanna, not a made-up one by Disney. We've got zebras and giraffes and elephants, hyenas and water buffalo all belong in the savanna. All right, but in the US, we have a savanna-type biome, which is the grasslands. So when we go back to savanna, savanna is a tropical grassland, and we have a temperate grassland, which means it can get snow, it can get cold. There's some antelope there. It's the American antelope, bison. So big herbivores live in the grasslands. There's a coyote. And we've got grasses. You can't see them with the snow because, again, we're in winter. But here it is in summer. We've got a lot of grasses. We've got a lot of little animals, birds, bears. Those are grizzly bears right there. We got some more buffalo or bison, some shrubs and grasses. This is a temperate grassland. We've got an elk. Those are some badgers. And then if we move to the east coast of the U.S., we are in the deciduous forest. This is where we live. We've got ferns, and we've got trees that have moss and lichen and leaves that change color in the seasons. Hey, there's Miss Wheeler's family in the deciduous forest. You can see all those trees back there. We also have slugs and snails and salamanders and millipedes and bears. There's a black bear. So these are all things that you would find in the deciduous forest. We've got some fungi in the deciduous forest, and fungi are in a lot of different biomes, but these, I happened to take these pictures while we were in a deciduous forest. We've got some flowers, daffodils. This is what it looks like in the winter when all the leaves have fallen off of those deciduous trees. That's what that means. And then let's look at the seasons. We've got fall in the deciduous forest where we get all those beautiful colored leaves. This is actually bush gardens in Virginia. This is my parents' backyard. This is how my backyard looked all growing up in the winter in Buffalo. So it gets cold and snowy. This is the spring, so we don't have all the leaves on the trees yet. They're starting to get full. And then this is summer when all those leaves are beautiful and green. So the deciduous forest has 4 seasons. Mr. Brubaker hung out in the deciduous forest over here, and he even saw a copperhead. Do you see it? And then if we move into the mountains, Mr. Manning's over there at the Great Wall of China in the mountains of China. Mountain biome, we change temperature and as we go up, and we change the amount of oxygen and pressure and all those things. This is Miss Redding in California at Yosemite. And this is Alaska again. I just thought that was a beautiful mountain biome range. You can see snows at the top, but not at the bottom, because again, the temperature changes as you go up. Here's the freshwater. We're into our aquatic biomes now. So freshwater is water that doesn't have salt. It can be a river. It can be a waterfall. Miss Redding ran a marathon all the way to Niagara Falls, and that's where the marathon ended. It could be a swamp. Freshwater could be a swamp. It could be a lake. So in your foldable, there's places to write down what kinds of freshwater environments there are. This is a lake, a pond. There's Mr. Brubaker, kayaking maybe, exploring the freshwater biome. Now, where the freshwater biome, the rivers, where they empty into the sea, that's called an estuary. So where the river and the ocean meet, we get an estuary. Usually they're marshes. Marshland is full of little organisms, lots of crabs. This is actually a sea pickle. It's a plant that can survive salty areas because the water in an estuary is part salt and part fresh. It's not as salty as the marine, but it does have some salt in it. And it's a nursery for lots of animals to lay their eggs, fish eggs, snails, all sorts of little organisms are going to grow up in the estuary. And then if we go all the way out to the ocean, we've got the marine biome. There's Dr. Da Silva. I know you were waiting to see her. There she is. In the marine biome, there's Miss Redding helping UGA with some turtle research. There's 100 and some turtle eggs, sea turtle eggs in there. More pictures of the marine. We've got some more crabs, some sea stars, a heron, which you might see in the freshwater as well. It just depends. And there's a sea anemone. Look how cool that is. That's from California in a little tide pool. Some more marine pictures. These are from Florida. So again, marine is our oceans. And so this would be either the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean. And here are some Pacific Ocean. That's my nephew Peyton. He caught a halibut. So halibut is another type of animal in the marine. There's Mr. Redding with a rockfish, I believe. I could be wrong on that. There's some eagles hanging out in the marine. This is in Alaska again. This is the Pacific Ocean. And we've got some more marine. This is a tropical area where Miss Wheeler was hanging out in the Bahamas. So Bahamas are in the marine ecosystem. And there's Mr. Brubaker, Caroline, hey Will, hanging out in Clearwater Beach, Florida. Some of you may have been there. They're kayaking through the marine ecosystem right there. Thank you for taking a tour with us on the world's biomes. Remember, if you need to go back and rewatch or re-listen to something and write some more down in your foldable, you can, of course, do that. Remember, you can use your foldable on our quiz later or our assignment later this week and our test on May 7th. And you will be getting more detailed information in tomorrow's lesson. So if you feel like there was not enough information, you didn't know what to write down, tomorrow's lesson, there'll be words on the screen and you can copy them down and pause them as you need to. So keep track of where you put your foldable, make sure you study it, be ready for later this week where you're going to be continuing to learn about the world's biomes.